Hi, welcome to Edward Box Guitar Tuition. So, my classic album inspection today is the Macaulay Schenker Group, the other MSG, their second album, Save Yourself. This was released October the 10th, 1989. It's 35 years old today. Originally, this album kind of came to my attention. I saw Michael Schenker. I was got back from a nightclub very late and I was a bit inebriated. And he was in a supergroup called Contraband, and they did a cover of All the Way to Memphis by Motley Hoople, and he did some killer leads on it. I was like, oh god, I haven't heard Schenker in ages, I've got to get some Schenker. So I think around that time I went and dived out and got a copy of this, and I think it'd probably been out by that point, probably a couple of years or maybe 18 months. So what is it? It's basically the follow-up to Perfect Timing. It's continuing that sound. It's a more of a generic radio rock, hard rock sounding record. It hasn't got, and the band didn't have that sort of quirk of the classic MSG. But Michael Schenker, he managed to keep his deal with EMI. He needed to repackage himself and try and compete with what was happening. And this album actually didn't do too badly. I mean, it made number 92 on the Billboard charts. Anytime got a bit of airplay on the Hot 100. So this and Perfect Timing were probably the closest he was going to get to any kind of mainstream success in America since the days of Lights Out, UFO. It's produced by Frank Filippetti. It's polished. Schenker's guitar sounds quite coarse, so I was adjusting that. The drums, it's got that typical big drum sound of the time, a little trashy, the snare. It probably lacks a bit of uniqueness in its production. But let's get into the track. So it opens with the title track. What's interesting with this is it opens with an unaccompanied guitar solo. Schenker does his own sort of little eruption intro, which is strange to listen to. He actually starts with that little trick he does where he wraps the A string over the E or vice versa and does that bell sound. You may have seen him do that on Lost Horizons live. Then he does some kind of quick trills and does some more sort of neoclassical sounding stuff and does the diminished, guitarists will be aware of the kind of diminished 7 run that Randy Rhoads used to do. Now Schenker, of course, had always had a neoclassical quality to sound, but it was kind of more minory. It was kind of slighter, So it's weird that he's kind of, look, Michael, have obviously gone, look, can you do stuff that's kind of more in keeping with the popular guitar of the time that he's helped invent, which is weird. It's a bit of chorus on the lead guitar, which Schenker never did, the classic thing to smooth off. I'm sure at one point he had a signature Washburn. It had a whammy bar on, which is really weird, Schenker having a whammy. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's quite interesting. And then he goes into the title track, Save Yourself, which is a good track. It's catchy, it's an up-tempo rocker, and it opens the album in fine style. Next track is the worst for me, it's Bad Boys. When I saw at Michael Schenker's Temple of Rock a few years ago, they did this song. This was only Robin McAuley's song that Robin McAuley got to sing from his era. He did the UFO covers. In actual fact, he was easily the best frontman singer on the night. He's still an excellent singer. But it was this track doesn't do it for me. It's a kind of cheesy sort of hair metal rocker with a kind of bluesy sort of tone to the riff. Then it's got the big power ballads, sort of AOR tune, Anytime. Obviously, you will be aware of Love Is Not a Game off the Perfect Timing album. This is the kind of follow-up track. It's good. It's co-written by Steve Mann. He obviously plays with Schenker now on keyboards and guitar. Excellent. For me, the best rhythm guitarist. I know Paul Raymond's, classic figure, but I think Steve Mann's a much better guitar player than Paul Raymond. He can do all the keyboard stuff, including flinging Derek Sherinian solos that have gone down on the Immortal album. So, really good. He writes this with Robin McAuley. It's a catchy track. It's a good radio track. Nice multi-tracking and solo harmonies by Michael. Very good. Then you got my favourite track on the album, I think, just a good daft rocker, Get Down to Business. This is Rob McAuley, Rocky Newton, right? This Rocky Newton, obviously from, I think, going back to Lionheart. Good. I should say that this lineup of the Macaulay Schenker Group was a good, strong lineup that lasted a couple of albums. Bodo Schopf on drums, Schopf, who still is back in Schenker's band, very good. This is great. I would say this is the one track with a solo on where you're like, fucking hell, that's as that's Schenker, peak Schenker. It's a fantastic solo. It's got the, it's got the MSG UFO vibe. He does the, the crazy cool blues pentatonic licks, but he does some really cool syncopated stuff. And on this album as well, she mentioned he's starting to do kind of pinch harmonics more. I think that's probably due to like the equipment, equipment getting better. He's probably one of those players where he's always used a little bite on the side of the pick, but with gear, back in the day, it was very difficult to get a harmonic response, even with his patented half-cocked wah. So I suspect those are just kind of popping out more a bit. So this is a catch track, and then side one of the original vinyl finished with Shadows of the Night. This is written by Robin McCauley and Michael Schenker. This is good. This is got a catchy, nice, nice sort of ploddy groove with kind of 16s on the bass. Good harmonics in the background, like Desert Song. Catchy, 5 minutes 20. This is the longest track. I should just say the tracks on this album, apart from Save Yourself, which is over 6, but it's got that solo, they're all kind of over 4 minutes. It's in that period where songs are starting to get longer. The whole album's 50 minutes long. Then you've got What We Need. This was the B-side of the Anytime album. This is catchy. Again, it's fairly rocks along. It's got a lot of energy, quite a cool solo. Good transition, key change on the chorus. I like this track. Then we've got I Am Your Radio. This is written by someone called Newton. Oh, Rocky Newton, what we're talking about, and someone called Kenny Stewart. I don't know who Kenny Stewart is. It's got a cheesy chorus. I am your radio, I am your one night show, I am the rock that makes you roll. I used to quite like this, but it is a bit cheesy. But it's catchy. It kind of fits in, I guess, with what they're trying to do on the album. Then there's a little instrumental called There Has to Be Another Way, 1 minute 49. This is a kind of clean picked thing, ballad with Michael doing some emotive lead. Quite interesting. It's a long time since he'd done a track. He'd be going back to Bijou Pleasurette off the first MSG album for this type of instrumental. Obviously got Lipstick Traces off Phenomenon, Looking Out for No One Reprise, Albury Hills, those little pieces that he does. This isn't in that league. It's a nice little piece. It just doesn't stand out the way something Bijou Pleasurette does, which I think's amazing. Then you got This Is My Heart. This is the other kind of AOR radio type song, 457. This is written by the whole band, a guy called Alan Nelson. It's okay. It's, again, it's catchy. It fits in, like I said before, what they're trying to do on the album. But I guess, yeah, we've had a bit of a bad run here of tracks, and then you got Destiny, and then this kicks up again. This has got the high energy tempo of the title track. Steve Mann, Ron McCauley write this very catchy chorus. Really good lead. And then it finishes with Take Me Back. This is written currently with Kenny Stewart and Rocky Newton again. I think it's quite interesting that the band have contributed as tracks when Michael's not writing. It's actually, well, I've read like Ron Neverson interview where Michael's great at coming up with riffs, but he needs a producer or someone to kind of, I'll put that here. I think that's how he works with Michael Voss now. He'll just come up with a load of riffs, they'll record them and start putting together. Take Me Back, this has got a catchy chorus. It's got a good transition key change into the chorus. Kind of a more AOR-y track. There's a bonus track called Vicious on the Japanese remaster. I haven't heard that. So what's this album like? I mean, I'd say it is the best Macaulay Schenker album. The album after this starts and ends with 2 great tracks. It's a bit kind of heavier, but not much to distinguish it. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. What did Macaulay Schenker need to kind of go the extra step? I'm not sure really. Just kind of better songs, more consistent songs, and perhaps on the album, and just something to make maybe a production or something that just make them stand out more. I think Rob McCauley's an excellent singer. I think if I had an observation about him singing, he's got power, he's got range, he's kept his voice in great condition, but he's got a sort of rasp to his voice that's cool, but he hasn't got a melodious tone as much as some singers. If you compare him to, say, like Klaus Meine, and then obviously Phil Mogg's got that smooth blues, Graham Bonnet's got that raw, and Rob McCauley's one of those singers who could sing all those types, but he doesn't have that sort of sound, I suppose. Michael, you know, in that era, he's the original guitar in the 70s. In this time, he's trying to sort of compete more with the modern heroes of the late 80s, and you know, he does so admirably. But it's difficult when you got George Lynch and guys like that out there who've taken a lot of Schenker and are kind of doing this evolved, supercharged Schenker style. But it's worth checking out this album. I like it. Yeah. So that's my classic album inspection today. Remember to share and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks very much.